So he finally got the recognition that we on Ringside rarely hand out. Johnny Nelson, World Cruiserweight Champion for 7 years. And a new WBO belt was presented to Johnny last weekend in Vegas.
Thompson, and I never forget, man, you got the best job, like Larry Hunt. You and Larry Hunt are the best job.
And here it is, back on home soil. We don't often give you praise for your fighting career, but a jab like Larry Holmes?
That's right.
Explain.
I think he meant job. But you know what? Good, the man knows class. Good on him.
Here's a man who's surely a tad jealous of Johnny's newfound flame, alongside Spencer Oliver. I mean, come on, guys, he deserves his dues, doesn't he, for once?
How long does it take them to give you that belt? Did they forget where you live, or did they forget who you are? I think they forgot who you are.
Like the amount of people that were around.
Oh, it was just, I just wish I'd been at that star-spangled event. That was amazing. I could stay on for this today. I think I've already. And a jab like Larry Holmes.
7 years he reigned.
Listen,
13 defences.
well-deserved belt. Was it expensive?
You banged out for the point.
No, it was well-deserved.
Ignore him, Mama. Ignore him. Ignore him.
It was well-deserved.
Joking about
One of the leading current lights also warrants major respect. Now, Johnny and I were impressed from ringside by Timothy Bradley's tactical display last weekend. He was good, wasn't he?
This man showed discipline, he showed patience, he's shown athleticism, and you know what, he stuck to a game plan which worked fine. He was so cool all the way through, but to finish it off, what a nice guy.
Indeed.
What a nice guy.
And still WBO welterweight champion of the world, Timothy Bradley.
Some of those rounds were close. Were you a little bit worried when they said a split decision?
I wasn't worried at all. I mean, some of the rounds were close, but you know, I'm the champion in there, and I was controlling the action the whole way through. So I don't know why the fight was so close.
Do you think this fight gives you the respect and the credit you so richly deserve?
Well, I think I deserve the respect. You know, I'm now top 3 pound for pound. So, but you know, you never know what everybody gonna say. It really doesn't matter. I know I'm one of the best fighters in the world, and that's all that matters to me. And as long as my team is happy and we keep winning and dominating, that's all that matters.
You remain undefeated now. I'm sure you go into 2014 looking to become a real superstar in the sport. Do you think the fans will take to you? Do you think now is the time for you?
Well, I will hope the fans will stick to take to me now. I show 2 different styles. I show how versatile I am. I show how hardworking I am. I'm a big family guy, a nice guy. I'm friendly with everybody. I mean, I have all of the traits, man. You know, I really hope that the fans do gravitate towards me and know that I'm the real deal. After beating 2 Hall of Fame fighters now, come on now, you got to give me respect. And if you don't give me respect, give somebody in the ring, I'll beat them again.
Tim, you're in a noisy lion's den there, so you've got your chance for your boys to make some noise. Big up your boys. Come on. Come on!
You're a good motivator, aren't you?
Yeah, that's what it was all about. New belt, the motivator, Glenn. Nice guy as well.
Yeah.
Very good. I thought he boxed the perfect fight, and he's beat Manny Pacquiao. He's then beat his conqueror, and he did so in very good fashion. It was a very intelligent performance where he took away the 40-year-old Mexican legend's legs. He was in and out of range, never allowed Marquez to get set, and I think that occasion seemed set for us to find a 5-weight world champion, and he just, he wasn't going to have any of that.
Intelligence, tactics. He said athleticism as well to us.
Absolutely. I think that youth was key there. He was just that 1 pace ahead of Marquez. The boxing world, the general boxing world, felt that Marquez, was going to win after that fantastic performance against Pacquiao, knocking Pacquiao out. Everybody had Marquez a favourite there, but Bradley just switched his game against Provodnikov. He was taken to some dark places, took into the trenches and really found it tough. So we was wondering what was Bradley really going to be like going into this fight, but he proved himself a worthy champion there, and big fights beckoned for him. Mayweather's, I think he deserves it.
He proved he can find what it needs to win, because as you said, against Provodnikov, he got drawn into a fight. He still come through it though. He was badly shaken, still come through it. Then against Marquez, he took away his movement, never let him get set for the big punch, and just never, didn't quite let him in the fight.
Is it to be a marquee name?
I think so, yeah. He proved that he can adapt to certain styles, certain fights, and he proved his excitement again, and I think that he deserves to be up there with the
I mean, one or two thought it was really close, you know, that Marquez had a point in the fight, and the split decision. He said it was a robbery, Marquez, but Bradley won it, didn't he?
Bradley won it. The right man won it. I thought at times Marquez didn't get the plaudits that he deserves for some very good defensive work. You know, he comes getting in the range. Lovely,
he was in the fight.
Lovely parry, and you know, he just makes you miss just by that. And sometimes that's not picked up, you know, by the casual fan. The beautiful defensive work that he did. So he was always in the fight. It was always looking like it was going to take off, but Bradley never let it. He just controlled it.
I felt that he was always in the fight, but he was always behind in the fight. He was making it a decent fight, but Bradley just had the upper hand every time, you know, in every round. I thought that Bradley was a clear winner.
Yeah, it keeps surprising us, doesn't it? There was excitement on the undercard too. Orlando Salido defending his world featherweight title, proving just too experienced, too good really for the brave Orlando Cruz. Good performance from Salido, Spencer.
Yeah, great performance. Just showed his strength there, really driving in those body shots. And Cruz, you know, waiting a long time for this title shot, but just never had what it took. And yeah, great performance for Salido.
Salido caught up to Cruz partway through the fight. Cruz seemed a bit too sharp from the off. Do you think Salido's tactics were spot on?
I think that's the way Salido fights. You know, he's going to come forward. He's a very workmanlike fighter who gets the job done, who keeps coming. For me, he's the sort of fighter that doesn't look as good as he is, and you get a surprise against him because he's in your face. Some variety there. There was some wonderful left uppercuts and the body punching. I think Salido is a tough man to beat.
Yeah, hugely seasoned, isn't he? Well, the performance of the night, though, came from the dazzling former amateur star Vasil Lomachenko, who shone in his debut. It was a 10-rounder with Jose Ramirez. He seemed to have timing, movement, speed, defense, power, the lot.
Yeah, I mean, he was in with an opponent here that had 28 professional fights, won 24, lost 2 and drawn 2. So this was a world-class opponent he was in with, but he proved why he won 2 Olympic titles, and they're talking about world title shots in his second fight. Well, I mean, it's amazing.
I was looking at his record before the fight and reading that amazing stat and scratching my head thinking, yeah. You know, 397 fights, 396 wins, 2 world titles, 2 Olympic titles. You think, surely that can't be. And then he gets in the ring and a 10-round in a tough fight and shows you why. He is unbelievably good.
Glenn, I might get shot for saying this, but they're talking about putting him in with a Salido next to his next fight. Do you think that's right? I just think
I'm a bit old school where I think if you're good enough, it's time. And he is good enough. Remember, his amateur record is second to none, you know, so I think, you know, he deserves, he'll win.
Well, they were talking about it afterwards, an announcement probably that his second pro fight will be in January against Salido for the World 9-Stone crown. They came together for the pictures, and all the talk is that Lomachenko is going to take it.
I have fought many of elite fighters. Marquez is one of them, high-quality fighters. And, you know, yeah, he thinks he could beat me, but with my experience and what I've done in my career, I could take Lomachenko. I was already thinking for that, and I asked for it. I won it.
Pues no sé si me esté mal.
I mean, we're ready. I mean, it's not disrespect. He thinks he could beat me, that's fine. Let's get the paperwork, let's get a good deal, and we can make it happen.
Очень сильный боксер, он в первую очередь.
He has a lot of talent, and he has a lot of boxing, you know, on his shoulders. So I think he's a good fighter.
Spencer, January the 25th at the Garden. Be a massive piece of history if it does happen.
And I think it will happen. I think that he's good enough. On the performance we saw there, he proved that he's world class in only his first contest, and I think that definitely he's going to go on and win the world title.
Can he beat Salido?
I think, you know, Pete Rademacher in the 50s fought Floyd Patterson in his first professional fight. You know, got him, put him on the floor. I think he's a bit better than a Pete Rademacher, and I think he's going to be a multi-weight world champion.
I thought he was really special watching him ringside. A good deep card. Also saw the lively American-Irish character Sean Monaghan keep his unbeaten record intact, dismantling Anthony Caputo Smith. He's some personality. More exclusive action from the Vegasville unbeaten Filipino southpaw June Rodriguez, stopping the Mexican Giovanni Caro in the 6th and final round. Thoughts?
They were trying to make this guy to be something special. It was a good fight, but do you mean?
Yeah, I think he's still got some way to go. I mean, the hype was surrounding him, but you know, on the performance we saw there, he still makes a lot of flaws, and I think there's still a lot of work to be done. He leans in with that right hand, and you know, there's still a lot of work to be done.
So they're trying to make him into a mini Pacquiao, potential Pacquiao.
Well, I think, you know, that's always the thing, isn't it? You know, you want somebody to follow the great Manny Pacquiao, and we're looking at it there. I'm not quite sure he had the dazzling talent of a young Pacquiao yet.
Finally, to the Upper Vegas night with the likes of Tyson, Jones, Chavez, Cotto and Barrera all ringside. It was amazing, it really was. The photographers were out in force, and there was a particularly special snapper in the shape of three-weight world champion Nonito Donaire.
I enjoy it, you know, I enjoy it. It's part of who I am, you know. I don't know, I can't really say nothing about it, but it's inspiring for me, you know, to just be there and just see the guys and just be a regular guy looking at these guys that we idolize inside that ring, you know. I did a few fights, I did it a few times, and I enjoy it a lot. I mean, it's amazing.
That be a career when you hang them up?
Something that I enjoy. I mean, if I can do something with it, you know, why not? But I think that I'm going to stick with boxing and be a manager, promoter, or whatever it may be.
It's nice to see a fighter with a good head on his shoulders. He's got interest outside of the sport as well.
Yeah, it's a breath of fresh air, isn't it? And, you know, such a nice guy. And one of the pound-for-pound best fighters in the world at the moment. And it's amazing to see him there leaning over the ropes, taking photos of the fights, just like a normal boxing fan, wasn't
And he let us into his house as well in Vegas. Smashing chat.
No, we saw the piece. It was great, wasn't it? So friendly, such a nice guy. You know, I mean, good to have fellas like that in boxing.
Yeah, we wish Nonito Donaire well. More top international action ahead on Sky this weekend, and it should be a crackling mix as Mike Alvarado and Ruslan Provodnikov enter battle. Straight back to the States, where our US media correspondent Dan Rayfield is about to head to Colorado for his ringside spot.
Dan, firstly, we sat alongside you at the weekend. Good to be there for a big show in Vegas.
Yeah, it was great to see you guys. That was a good show, and got a chance to sit next to you guys, so that's always a pleasure.
Surely we expect fireworks this weekend from Alvarado and Provodnikov. You'll enjoy it, won't you?
Oh my goodness, Adam, I've been looking so forward to this fight. I mean, when they made this and I looked at the calendar for the remaining schedule of 2013, that was the one I circled on my list of the top fights by far. This fight, you know, I can't see how it can't be a good fight between Alvarado and Provodnikov. Mike Alvarado has been in 4 consecutive fights that are worthy of Fight of the Year consideration. Provodnikov, his fight earlier this year against Bradley was certainly a Fight of the Year candidate. He's been in a number of good fights on my network, ESPN, on our Friday Night Fight series. So you put those two guys together, the way they fight, the way they've been talking in the pre-fight, I just can't imagine it's not going to be something special.
Do you think Provodnikov can talk him into another, Alvarado into another tear-up like this?
I mean, Mike is this type of guy. When he goes into his fights, he always likes to talk about how he's going to try to box. And it's gotten to the point where I'll interview him before the fight, and I kind of, you know, in a good-natured way, kind of laugh at him and say, come on, Mike, you know that's not going to be the way it's going to happen. And he kind of shrugs his shoulders and smiles, and he kind of laughs, because what happens is he goes in the ring, he tries to box a little bit, and all of a sudden he gets cracked with a shot, and then it's on. And Provodnikov doesn't even not try to make the excuse to say he's going to try to box. His whole goal is to try to impose himself, break his opponent down, take their will, take their heart, and beat him down. And I don't see how that's not going to happen when these two guys collide. They're both going to try to do that same thing.
Hold on, Dan. Juan Diaz is back.
Yeah, Juan Diaz is back. You know, this is going to be the 3rd fight of his comeback. He's actually on the undercard in Denver of the Alvarado-Provodnikov fight. It's the 3rd fight of the comeback, and it's probably the last of the so-called tune-up fights. You know, he was out of the ring for about 2.5 years, and so he is looking for another title shot. He just signed with Top Rank. So they're putting this fight on, and part of that agreement is that sometime in the next 18 months, they promised to deliver him a lightweight world title fight. And, you know, assuming that Juan continues to win, he's always been an exciting fighter, a great guy outside the ring, a credit to the sport. So his goal is to go in there against Juan Santiago, you know, a journeyman-type opponent, you know, get sharp, look good, come out healthy, and move on to what hopefully will be a fight against a contender or perhaps a title fight in his next 1 or 2 fights.
Dan, Glenn, Spencer, all of us fight fans here want to know what is happening with Amir Khan. Will it be Mayweather? Rumours overnight about Robert Guerrero, maybe. Tell us what's happening.
Well, I mean, I've heard the rumor about the Guerrero fight recently, and I had the occasion to speak with Robert's manager just the other day, not about Guerrero particularly. I was talking because Bob Santos, the co-manager for Robert Guerrero, is now going to be the new trainer for James Kirkland. So when we were done talking about that, I said, hey, what's going on with Robert? And, you know, the fact is they have nothing going on with Robert now. According to the manager, they're kicking back the rest of this year. You know, he just had earlier in the year the Mayweather fight. They're waiting for a bigger fight. And I've never heard one iota about anything to do with an Amir Khan fight. He has said there's no particular discussions about any fight whatsoever for Robert Guerrero at this moment. The rumor, of course, has been that Mayweather fight would possibly be next because once Amir, you know, pulled out of the negotiation for the Devin Alexander fight, which was disappointment to me, to be honest, because frankly, I'm a big fan of Amir Khan. I like Amir Khan. I've known him almost his entire career. He's a great guy. I enjoy watching him fight, but I do not think in any way, shape, or form at this moment in time that he deserves or warrants a fight against Floyd Mayweather Jr. That said, he still might get it, but there's no deal yet, despite what's been reported in some of the British media, wrongly reported in the British media. But that's a fight that could happen. But I don't think that a Guerrero fight is in the discussion stages at now. Now, it could happen, but at the moment, from my understanding from the Guerrero people, that's not something that's on the agenda.
Okay, what we do know, there's plenty happening before Christmas. On October the 26th, Bernard Hopkins against Murat.
Very, very interesting fight from the standpoint that Bernard is a 48-year-old world champion. You know, he's going in against an opponent that's not that known anywhere, even in his own country. It's probably one of Bernard's lowest profile fights in many, many years. And you know, I was on a conference call with Bernard earlier in the day, and Murat talking about the fight, and it struck me when Bernard was talking about how he's going to be around a little bit longer. You know that this week, last couple of weeks, when the ballots for the International Boxing Hall of Fame went out, two guys that are much younger than Bernard Hopkins, who Bernard Hopkins knocked out, who are already retired for 5 years, are on the ballot for the first time and probably will be elected on the first ballot. That's Tito Trinidad and Oscar De La Hoya. So they're getting ready to make their speeches for the Hall of Fame next summer. And Bernard Hopkins, at 48 years old, is still around and a world champion. It's really a remarkable thing to see. So even if it's maybe not the greatest matchup, I'd like to see the greatest fighters of our time still go in there when they can still do it at a high level. And that's Bernard Hopkins. You know, I say appreciate him while he's here because you'll miss him when he's gone.
Big night, December the 7th. Now we're in Stuttgart for Barker and Stern, but in Brooklyn, Maloney, Judah. Good stuff, both sides of the Atlantic.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, Maloney and Judah, it's not for world title, but it doesn't matter to me. This is a fight that I have wanted to see for many years. I mean, anytime you can get, you know, the turf right, the turf war for the bragging rights of your hometown, which they're both from Brooklyn, you know, it's interesting. They both slowed down a little bit, I guess, but they're still top good fighters in their weight classes. Judah's going back up to the welterweight division, but Paulie's been a junior welterweight for most of his career also, so size-wise, it's the same kind of fight. They have a lot of respect for each other, and the thing I found interesting when talking to Paulie about this fight when I was in Las Vegas at the Bradley Marquez fight, I was doing an interview with him, and I said, you know, Paulie, you're so known in the gyms around New York City, so is Zab Judah. You know, you guys must have sparred together at some point along the line because you spar with everybody. And Paulie said, you know what, you're right about one thing. I've sparred basically everybody, and so has Zab. But funny thing is, we've never sparred each other. So I found that interesting. And then Paulie recounted the fact that when he was still an amateur, they were friendly to the point where Zab Judah once worked his corner in an amateur fight. So there's a lot of healthy respect between those two guys. But they both know they want to walk out of that ring as the champion of Brooklyn, which is a tough neighborhood, a tough area. They want to be the king of the hood.
Should be an interesting time. Then we have a big show here on December the 14th. Lee Purdy, Kevin Mitchell, the other London guys. And over there you have Broner, Maidana and Ortiz in the States.
Well, I would say our fight card here in the States is a little bigger than the one with Kevin Mitchell and Purdy. I like Kevin Mitchell a lot. He's always exciting fights. You know, Purdy, I was very disappointed with the way he fought against Devin Alexander, not making the weight and then really not showing much of anything at all. The Broner-Maidana card is a fantastic card to me. It's very interesting. Broner, you know, he fancies himself as the next Floyd Mayweather. He's got a very tough test in front of him with Marcos Maidana defending his welterweight title, Broner defending his title. Maidana is a big, big puncher, you know, doesn't know how to take a backward step. But it's a good card top to bottom. They're putting it on pay-per-view. They're trying to build Broner into possibly the next pay-per-view attraction. But if you put Victor Ortiz on there, who's always in a dramatic kind of fight, going to challenge for one of the junior middleweight titles against Carlos Molina. But Victor hasn't fought for like 18 months. He's coming off back-to-back knockout losses. you know, with the very badly broken jaw that he suffered in his last fight. Frankly, Johnny, I'm not sure how or why he gets a world title fight coming off that long layoff, fighting in a new weight class and off back-to-back losses. But anytime Victor Ortiz gets in the ring, I'm interested to watch it because he does bring drama every time he steps in there.
Thanks, Dan. Always a pleasure. We'll speak to you very soon.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks a lot, guys. Good to see you in Vegas.
And after the break, we catch up with all the domestic news in what's a busy time for the British game. And we talk to Sheffield's unbeaten Kell Brook ahead of his next big test. Hello again, welcome back to Ringside.
Danny and Spencer are still with us.
We've assessed the American scene, time to bring British interest to the fore. Kell Brook meets Ricky Hatton conqueror Vyacheslav Senchenko on October the 26th. And earlier in the week, Johnny caught up with his former stablemate.
Kell, we've been friends for years now. Should you be world champion by now?
I should be world champion, but, you know, what can you do? It's being written. You know, I got an injury when it was my time. But you know that, you know, it's come back round again, and you know, a mandatory is going to be up soon. You're going to see me there for a world title.
Are you frustrated that your career's kind of been stalling a little bit?
Very frustrating. You know me. I want to get in there and prove to everyone why, you know, I'm the best. I want to get in there and, you know, really put it to him. Yeah.
You sound like you got a bit of spite back in your voice again. It sounds like you want it again.
I want it, yeah. I want to make a statement in this fight. You know, you're going to see something special. My name's definitely going to come into play, the special one, because I'm really going to put it on this kid, and really, I think this kid's going to, you know, bring the best out of me. You're going to see me at my best in this fight.
News comes in this week that if Devon Alexander wins, the new win, it could be you and him in February. Are you looking forward to that?
I am looking forward to that. You know, I'm just gutted at what's happened. You know, not taking away from anyone. I got injured, but he had an easy defence with a Purder, and now he's got another hand-picked opponent in Porter. You know, but my time will come, and you know, his days are soon to be over.
What's coming from Ricky Hatton about advice for this fight as well? He's saying don't take Senchenko lightly, be smart. Are you listening to what Ricky's had to say?
Yeah, I've been in contact with Ricky, and you know, he's gone over a few things with me, and you know, but you know, with me though, when the fans get behind me, I do like to get into a bit of a scrap, you know me. But yeah, I'm gonna be sharp, a lot of feints, you know, because this kid's long, you know, he's good at what he does. You know, he's very good at what he does. You know, he's not an ex-world champion, only lost one fight for nothing. So, you know, I've got to have my wits about me, and you know, but it's clever.
Do you see this as being going a distance fight, or do you think if you do your job right, stick to your game plan, he'll close it inside the distance?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at closing it inside the distance. You know, I always have that in my mind. You know, I think that you're gonna see me, you know, take care of me in style. You know, so you fasten your seatbelts, Johnny, because it's going to be a ride, baby.
Nice one.
Fasten your seatbelts. Our newsman Ed Robinson's joined us. Ed, it's a vital fight for Kell Brook.
Kell's had a terrible year, one he wants to put behind him, really. So he's got to win this, and the stakes are really high because he's still mandatory for the IBF belt. So hopefully he's in line for a fight with the winner between Devon Alexander and Sean Porter, hopefully for the new year.
Interesting, and there's plenty of other boxing news out there, isn't there?
He is, yeah. In Northern Ireland this weekend, Frampton faces Frenchman Jeremy Paradis in Belfast. Basically, it should be the Jackal's last fight before he challenges for a world title. The obvious target being new IBF champion Kiko Martinez, who Carl's already beaten.
Ever since I started boxing, that I want to be boxing at home. Or ever since I turned pro, I want to be boxing at home, and Belfast is my home, and the Odyssey's turned into a bit of a fortress for me. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the atmosphere, and party he's going to be in for. It's going to get noisy in there for him.
It's a significant test, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a good fighter. He's a good record. He's only been beaten once in, I think, 36 fights. So he's not much of a puncher, nice boxer, but there's not much footage we can get of him. We've seen a little bit on the internet, and that was from a couple of years ago. So we're kind of getting into this blind, but you know, with the amateur background and everything else, I think I'll be able to adapt to whatever style he has.
Well, the debate still rages as to who's better, Scott Quigg, who's now the WBA champion, or Carl Frampton, who's obviously beaten Kiko Martinez, who's now the IBF champion. Spencer, your division, what do you think?
That's the one question I didn't want to be answering, really. That's a really difficult one. I mean, Quigg for me has always been a little more seasoned, but Frampton in recent times has looked amazing as well, and it really is one of those 50-50 fights. If I had to put my house on it, I'd still lean towards Quigg, but like I said, Frampton's improving all the time. I mean, mouth-watering contest, and I think one of the best British contests out there at the moment.
That'll be a great night in Belfast as well. On Monday, we were all at the annual Boxing Writers' Dinner at the Savoy, where the Young Boxer of the Year award went to undefeated middleweight star Billy Joe Saunders, who's had a great year in the sport.
It means a lot to me. You know, Joe Calzaghe, Nazim Ahmed, there's a list of fighters who won it, Ricky Hatton. I mean, for me to be, you know, in the same sort of category and pick the same award up as them and to see what they've gone on to achieve, I mean, it means the world to me. This makes you think back and look on all the hard work that I put on, and you know, it's a reminder, you know, to keep going and bigger things that are going to come. Scott Quigg won it last year, and he's world champion this year. So, you know, hopefully the same thing can happen for me.
It was a great night down there. So many fighters, not so many promoters this year. Frank Maloney wasn't there. Barry Hearn, Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren all absent, but it was a great night. Did you vote for Billy Joe Saunders?
Absolutely, straight away. I also sat next to him for the evening, Ed, as you know, and he's a great guy. I think he's got so much talent, and you know, he's got a lot of pressure. You know, the Young Writer of the Year, they go on to big things. I think Billy Joe will.
Well, Scott Quigg won it last year. He's a world champion now. Saunders will be out again at the Copper Box at the end of November, the week before Darren Barker defends his world title against Felix Sturm in Germany. And Barker was also honoured and humbled when presented with a Joe Bromley Award for outstanding services to boxing.
I don't quite know what I've done to deserve it. You know, I'm just fortunate enough to be doing something I love, but I'm over the moon and honoured. There were some low points where I just, you know, I didn't think I'd even be here, let alone, you know, standing there as a world champion receiving this fantastic award. But yeah, it has been a turnaround, and I've got some good people around me who've helped me. The support I've had, especially when I was in Atlantic City, it really did feel like I had the nation behind me, and I thank everyone for their support. It made a big difference.
Well, Darren Barker battles so hard to eventually become champion. He doesn't want to be a flash in the pan. He's desperate to hold on to the belt, build some kind of legacy. You were a champion for a long time yourself, Johnny, after working for years to get there. What advice would you give him?
I think from winning a world title, it makes you, there's two types of champions. There's the champions that become complacent once they get the title. I think for Darren, he's the other one. It makes him hungry. It makes him all of a sudden think, you know what, I want more than this. This isn't enough. So I think if anything's going to inspire Darren Barker, it's winning a world title.
Well, also on the 7th of December, Matthew Macklin, often linked to a domestic matchup with Barker, returns after losing to Gennady Golovkin, no disgrace there, against American hope Willie Nelson stateside.
Yeah, December the 7th in Atlantic City, chief support to Rigondo against Joseph Agbeko. I'm going to be fighting Willie Nelson. I definitely think he's made for me stylistically. I think he'll be awkward for a few rounds. Like I say, he's 6'3", 6'4". Good sharp jab, so I think he'll be dangerous for a while. But I think once I take the sting out of him, you know, I should take over in the second half of the fight.
Well, great if Matthew Macklin can stay on track and Darren Barker can win. There's obviously a rematch clause with Felix Sturm, but you know, maybe Barker and Macklin could fight next year and next summer. That would be a really big fight. The other big news was David Price, the Liverpool heavyweight, looking to come back and teaming up with Adam Booth. Bit of a surprise there. What do you think about that matchup?
I think it is a bit of a surprise. David Price was a good fighter. He's had a couple of bad beatings, and I think it's very, very hard to come back from them. You know, the people he was with back there in Liverpool were good people and good for him and all the rest of it. So I'm not often sure that a change is that good. It's something different, so you know he's gonna, you know, wish him all the best.
Spencer, Adam told me he's so excited about getting David Price. He thinks he's got huge talent that can come again.
Yeah, I think it's a good move for David Price. He has to reinvent himself. Adam Booth, you know, is one of the best trainers out there, and I think that with David Price, it's all a mental game. It's all inside the head and just about reconstructing himself now. Adam Booth is great at that, so I think the partnership will work really well.
We saw Wayne McCulloch in Vegas as well, and he was on about getting him out there to get a bit of experience and a bit of exposure.
He's a commodity because really David Price needs a couple of wins and people will change their perception of him. Tommy Brooks, I think, the American trainer, was in the running. I know he went and trained with Joe Gallagher for a while in Manchester. That might have been a good pairing because there's a great atmosphere there. But Adam Booth does know David Price. They worked together before. And obviously, the mandatory for David Price's British title is Derek Chisora. And we know that Adam Booth's already worked out how to beat him through David Hay.
We'd like to see that, wouldn't we?
The other thing is Frank Maloney retiring, talking about the heavyweights. Yeah. That was a bit of a shock, but he says that he's out of love with the game. So a sad loss, Spencer, really. He worked with you in your career, didn't he?
He did. He was a big part of my career when I won the European title and all my European title defences. And and a real character of the game as well, Frank Maloney, and he'll be sorely missed. You know, it was sad to hear that he was retiring, and like I said,
massive personality.
Yeah, small in stature, big in personality,
huge,
you know, and people, you know, everybody liked him. I think it's going to be, you know, it's what he needs if he needs to get away from it for a little while. Boxing can sometimes, you know, be very heavy. There's lots of business to do, and there's lots of upset. And I think David Price, the losses to David Price must have affected him really badly. And I think that's probably a key in his decision. But I think it's hard for anybody. You get out of boxing, but it's not long until you want to be back in it.
That was what it was about Frank Maloney. He showed that he gets emotionally involved with his fighters. It's not just a business, and you know, David Price thing really did have a big effect on him, but Frank was like that with all his fighters all through his career. He's very emotionally involved, so you know, he will be sorely missed.
Can I just say good luck to Team GB out there in Kazakhstan for the World Amateur Championships. A few have lost already, a couple are through to the last 32, so good luck to them in the following week. And finally, Tony Bellew has had it confirmed that he'll challenge Adonis Stevenson in Quebec City for the WBC light heavyweight title on the 30th of November, the Liverpudlian's 31st birthday. But he will start as the underdog against the champion, promoted by Yvonne Michel.
It's a very important fight. Adonis is aware of the determination of Tony Bellew. He's not going to take him lightly. Tony deserves his position. You know, when Adonis was in the mandatory position, he had the hope that the champion was going to give him his opportunity. So I think it's going to be a good fight. Tony comes to fight. They will not be chasing each other very long in that ring. So it's going to be very entertaining.
Well, Eddie Hearn and Tony Bellew are out there at the moment in Canada for the press conference, and you know, it's a hard ask though, isn't it? He will go in as an underdog, Tony Bellew.
It is an hard ask, but I spoke to Tony Bellew about this, and
he's up for it, isn't he?
He's really up for it. He's really up for this one. He really wants it. You know, he's had that safety first approach in his last few contests, but he tells me that's going out the window, and he's going to go and meet fire with fire. And I think that, you know, he wants it that bad.
You're talking about being a tough one. Is there ever any easy ones? You know, this is what, as a kid, you go to the gym for, you know, every day. This is what you get up and run for. This is what takes you through a whole career. You want the chance to be world champion, and he's got that chance. So I'd imagine, yeah, there's a bit of fear in there, yeah, there's a bit of nerves, but there's a great deal of excitement at finally getting the chance to fulfill his dream.
I think Adonis Stevenson, he looks a good fighter. Does he look a beatable fighter? Yes, he does. Do I think Tony Bellew has that desire, that hunger, that fitness to do it? Yeah, I do. It's a tall order, but it's
I think the worry on paper is Adonis Stevenson punches so hard, doesn't he? We saw him knock out Chad Dawson in the first round, break up Tavoris Cloud. That's a level further than Tony Bellew's fought, and we have seen Tony Bellew drop by lesser fighters. But it's whether Tony Bellew can really raise his game when he needs to.
And Spencer Bellew does hit hard himself. He's got plenty of bottle, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And he'll go with no fear at all.
Adam, he's got all the ingredients to make this fight, you know, really explosive. And I truly believe that, you know, he had the world title shot before against Cleverly, put up an amazing performance. He doesn't want to come second again. He really does want this. And at the moment, Matchroom Stable is really buzzing. They keep getting the victories. Darren Barker going to win the world title. And I think that Tony Bellew could be the new addition and another world champion for Matchroom.
We'll hopefully be talking to him right here soon on Ringside. Thanks, Ed. After the break, the second in our new series of Life After Boxing, as Jamie Moore went to see Manchester's Thriller Minute, Michael Gomez.
Since I retired boxing, you know, missed boxing so badly. I've ended up in a mental health hospital twice. Because just simple fact, I've been torturing myself. Well, I've got to live with the fact is I never took it serious.
Yeah.
I was always out partying, and I've got to live with that for the rest of my life.
Former favourites.
Was now one of them.
Well, maybe now you have your new shiny belt.
Yeah.
With you. Glenn and Spencer, of course, former favourites as well, but a more recent fighter we were keen to catch up with was Michael Gomez. Jamie Moore went to track him down.
I could have easily gone down the wrong road. I could have been out standing on street corners selling bad stuff and all that. That's what these streets are like. We'll see. Let's go to war. I got carried away a bit myself with a hype of being a hard kid. I know I'm a tough kid. Going doing stupid things on the streets and forgetting about where I come from and how I got out of the ghetto.
We're just on the way through Moston, on the way to see Michael Gomez for the next edition of Life After Boxing.
Well, it's been well documented, especially around Manchester, that he's had some trouble since retiring. He's a good mate of mine, Michael. I thought it'd be nice to go and visit him, catch up with him, see how he's coping. So, Mike, thanks for having us, invited us to
Cheers, James. Thanks for coming, mate.
And great to see us. Going to talk about your career, go back to the glory days.
Let's hope we'll get no flashbacks.
Oh, you'll have some of them, mate. Just don't throw any shots at me. So, I mean, you had a great career. Take us back to the beginning. You turned pro. What year did you turn pro?
Turned pro on June the 10th, 1995, 11 days before my 18th birthday.
Right.
It was an exciting up and down roller coaster career it was. And we've gone from the highlight of my career being a Sun Series title fight to becoming like WBU World Champion, 2 times British Champion. Involved in some of the most exciting fights shown on Sky TV in Britain. I was born in a car, I'm not ashamed of that. Just some people have it good and some people have it bad. I was just unfortunate early on to have it bad. But the good times are going to come. When I first turned pro, I changed my name from Michael Armstrong because there was another boxer to Gomez. So when I first come out nice white, pale white Irishman, just couldn't understand it. It just took off and then everybody started wearing that.
He's caught by a left hook there from Gomez. Exploded that punch. It is over in round 2. Michael Gomez, to the delight of those sombrero-clad fans, is the British super featherweight champion in only the 2nd round.
Yeah, I'm fired up. Right now I'd fight Mike Tyson, the next lose, I'm not fired up.
I think a lot of people don't know your story. Your trainer tells me that you were born in a car and brought up in a children's home. It's what a success.
That was real life. It's not a story.
Since you've retired, how's your life gone since then?
Oh, since I retired boxing, you know, missed boxing so badly. I've ended up in a mental health hospital twice. Because just simple fact, I've been torturing myself. Well, I've got to live with the fact is I never took it serious.
Yeah.
I was always out partying and I've got to live with that for the rest of my life. You've got to remember one thing about me, Jamie. Everything I've done in life, I've done myself. I've never had no mother and father. So when I was off the rails, no one could grab me and say, yeah, Michael, you're going to blow it.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't listening to my mum and dad, so I wasn't going to listen to Brian Hughes or Billy Graham.
Yeah.
If I've got no mum and dad to listen to, why would I listen to anybody else?
You don't know what to expect with me, I don't know what to expect myself. You little idiot, I'm going to smash his head in. I'm going to take him to school. I want to be in wars. I want to get in there and get hurt. I want my wrist, I want to get knocked out. I want to be real fights for these supporters.
How bad's it been? You know, the sort of the hardest.
Like I said, I ended up in Park House, Noy House.
Did you?
It's the badly depressed and...
what was it like in there?
It was bad because obviously it was no marbles. So I was gone. I was completely gone. Badly with depression and I was drinking too much, taking cocaine too much, trying to replace the feeling.
Yeah.
I was looking.
Try to replace that buzz.
No, well, what it was, my wife explained it the best way to the doctor. The doctor was coming round to see me. My wife said he's looking for something he'll never find.
Yeah.
And she's right. I'm looking for something I'll never find again. That feeling, that buzz will never come back.
And you think you'll get to the point where you get past that?
I'm just coming out of depression and that now. I'm starting to get through things now. And like I said, I've got the enjoyment now watching my son. He's got something that I never had. He's got a mother and father who both love him. And we both go to do good in life, not just in boxing. If he does good in boxing, fair enough. But he's got to go to college. When he finished school, he went straight to college. Same as all the girls go straight to college. We want to get a good education, something I never had.
Yeah, just giving me the opportunities what
So,
you never got.
Because when I came out of boxing, I couldn't read and I couldn't write and that. So I found it a bit hard to get a job. So he'll have something to fall back on. Have you got another brew? Do you want a brew, our kid?
No boxing.
So obviously, Mike, you can look forward to watching and see how your son progresses, and hopefully he can follow in your footsteps.
He's doing really well at the moment, actually. Mikey, come on in here, you peanut. I'll leave that there.
Michael, nice to meet you, pal. How are you, all right?
Yeah.
Take a seat. So, how proud are you of this lad?
Unbelievably proud. He's doing everything right at the moment. He's dead dedicated, trains well, eats well, lives well.
Lives a life.
Maybe a little bit of a downfall with the women, but other than that,
Yeah.
everything else is going right.
So how would you describe his style?
Just like to fight.
Yeah.
Just like a wall.
No method to your madness, just go in there and respect.
No method, just straight in there, son.
That's it. So Mike, back in the gym. Never feel like putting the gloves on yourself?
All
when
the
you get
time.
back in here?
All the time, think about it all the time. But like I say, something that'll never leave me. But like I say, I can focus everything now onto my young mind. He's doing really well. So looking forward to the future, looking forward to it now with him.
Try and pass on your knowledge, try and help
Try
him.
and pass on, I'm trying to help a little bit, but I can't really get too involved with him being his dad. So just take a bit of a backward step. Look at him, if you see any mistakes, I'll point them out. Like I say, keep your elbows in, keep your head moving, just point things out like that.
Yeah, future looks bright, mate. At least you
Okay.
can focus all your attention on your son now, can't you?
Trying to get sombreros out. Here we all go again.
Sombrero time again.
Showtime again, showtime.
A lot of people don't know your story. You're born in a car and brought up in a children's home.
That was real life, it's not a story. Boxing changed my life. Gary Thornhill changed my life. Dale, I'm not
You
like
changed your life. You changed your life.
Yeah.
Nobody else did it for you. You did it yourself.
Cheers, Jamie, but you know, it changed my life. After that shot landed, it changed my life. Like you say, making a movie on me. Film's still getting made, and writing a book on me. So hopefully
Mate, I'm sure
the future's going to be
sure
bright.
there'll be many people who buy the book and watch the documentary, I'm sure, mate.
It'll be good when it comes out, you know, it'll be good to, you know, good to be back on TV again. It's good to be back on Sky again, because you miss it.
We miss him, don't we, Glenn? We were there from the start.
We were, you know, he had a very, very rough start in life, and, you know, he pulled a career out of boxing, and it gave him some hope. And it looks like, you know, it's been hard to keep his feet on the floor and keep himself going, but it looks like there's light at the end of the tunnel, and, you know, he's starting to feel better about himself. But certainly, you know, if we just talk about his boxing career, didn't he give us some great fights and so much excitement?
Amazing roller coaster, and I suppose his night was 10 years ago up in Scotland against the heavy favourite, Alex Arthur, the golden boy.
It was
and look what he did with him.
It was all set out in this fight for Alex Arthur, who looked like he was going, as you say, to be the golden boy and be special in Scotland. And Michael Gomez did what he does best, and that showed heart and guts and courage.
I think at this stage as well, Gomez was considered maybe a little past his best as well, and he produced a career best performance, and you know, he really did give us excitement through the years. I was in the opposite corner once when he boxed Dean Piffy in the British title fight, and he'd give us real entertainment then. And I mean, every fight he was involved in was a drama and real.
In fairness, Spencer, Alex Arthur went on to become a world champion, had a great career, but I don't think he was ever quite as good as he was before this fight. And, you know, a fight like this takes it out of both men.
He talks about missing the sport. You can kind of relate to the buzz that's missing out of his life, can't you?
Yeah, of course you can. I mean, you know, it's a very difficult one, because once your boxing career's over, different guys, you know, you need something to sort of channel your energy into, find a little bit of direction in life. And he's obviously hit depression, and we touched base on this, you know, last week when we were talking about depression, and it really is a difficult thing to overcome. And unfortunately for Michael, you know, he found drink, he found drugs, but the great thing is that he has found light at the end of the tunnel, and he is coming back.
It's the hardest thing in the world, and you can ask any boxer, you know, when you have to walk away, when you're never in the limelight, when you're never just in the gym slogging away, trying to find that dream. When that's gone, it's very, very hard to come to terms with life after that. You are always looking for something, and you know, I think any boxer can feel for Michael so much.
Well, we wish Michael and his son the very, very best. Now, last weekend it was Bradley Marquez. This week we bring you Alvarado Provodnikov from Colorado. All starts at 2 o'clock, Sky Sports 2. Former world lightweight champion Juan Diaz on the bill too.
Wednesday sees a Ringside special as we count down to Kell Brook's big night, Sheffield Steel, the story of Brendan Ingles' Winkerbank Gym, 8:30, Sky Sports 1.
That was it. Well, man.
Lots of memories.
Yeah, still fresh when you think about it deeply, but good to go back to that memory lane.
We'll be back for Ringside next week as we build up to the Sheffield show, and we have a special feature on one of the biggest punchers in the world today, Gennady Golovkin, whose next fight is live on Sky Sports. Saturday week, a feast from the Sheffield Arena, featuring Calified, Callum Smith, Brian Rose, Anthony Joshua, Brooks Senchenko, all live, 7:30, Sky Sports 2. Our thanks to Glenn Spencer, as always, as we finish by paying tribute to a promoter who enjoyed many successful nights with us here on Sky.
Frank Maloney announced his retirement last week, and we'll miss him.
We certainly will. A terrific guy to work with. Frank was dedicated, successful, passionate, and will be remembered for guiding Lennox Lewis to the top.
I had some great years with Lennox Lewis. I mean, 12 years of living a life that you could never explain. No one will ever live that lifestyle that I lived with Lennox Lewis. I've had great years with a lot of fighters, but the excitement was Lennox Lewis.
Say it and believe it. Britain has an undisputed world heavyweight champion. And look at that, the hug between Frank Maloney, who's been with Lennox all the way. Well, there's chaos in here. There's ticker tape all over the ring. There's a party started in here, and Frank Maloney's leading it. Unbelievable. It's been a great day. Lennox Lewis says he's not having a party tonight, but you are, aren't you? I know that. I'm going to hang about a bit. Cheers, Frank. Well done.